We're gonna get back to those in a minute, but right now need to work on the Jeep first. Get rid of the L beer cans from having a fire outside, smoking a cigar. It's kind of one of my favorite pastimes to relax, unwind. So this is my advice I'm going to give you. If you're working on something, then a problem arises afterwards. 99% of the time, the problem is a result from what you're doing. So I got a MAF Sensor performance issue. I think it's like a P0101. I think that's what the code is. I'm going to have to get my scanner to plug it in and re-get it. And that only appeared after I changed oil. Changed out the K&N style air filter. Now could be very well that some of the oils from that filter got onto the sensor, causing it to have misreadings from time to time. It is not a constant code. It kind of blips, passes, and goes back to normal. So intermittent problems are some of the biggest things to figure out and determine, but we're going to have a look at it. So I'm going to start off using my favorite scanner, the Autel MS906BT that I purchased, and not any of the bi-directional scanners that were sent out to me, because this one here is still far superior to anything that was sent to me. And I've been seeing in the comment section, some people have been complaining about sponsored content because I started accepting things that people are sending. And the truth of the matter fact is, your opinions don't pay the bills. That's plain and simple as that. When a person starts doing YouTube and you start earning money, it's called a business. And the truth of the matter, the fact is, I just don't care anymore. I think YouTube is not going to be around in a few more years. At least not to the way it was. People that I've talked to are already saying they're seeing their revenues cut in the past year by at least 50%. And I'm going to milk it for all it's worth before the bubble bursts. Just like the economy right now, stock market's already down in the dumps. I have done full stop on investing. I used to invest $2,500 a month. Not anymore. Full stop. I'm just seeing my money just keep wasting. I like $6,000 losses in the past month. Full stop. When the market bottoms out, and I feel that it's bottomed out, I may start putting money back in, but for right now, I'm not. Anyways, let's get going on this. You cannot tell me right there that that's not a beautiful sight. Hey? That's what real power is. Not that 4-liter gutless turd so many people are talking about doing strokers and stuff. It doesn't matter. This is 4.0. I supercharged it. There's no point in making it a stroker. A polished turd is a polished turd. There is no replacement than V8 power. Let's get this thing booted up. Turn on the ignition. Close the door so I don't have to listen to that annoying beeping. We're going to come over here. Alright, so here we go. P101 mass flow air sensor performance. Let's pull up the data. So 3,000 RPM. Engine coolant temperature 91. Throttle position sensor 76%. I must have just been heavy on the fuel there. Engine load 34%. MAP sensor 87, 4.10 volts. Closed loop. The fuel trim seemed to be a little high there. Fourth gear. Transmission drive 4, current gear 3. So I pulled my data. It's not a constant code, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the ignition in the Jeep. Perfect. We don't need that on. And then I'm going to come over here and we're going to pull the air filter off and have a look. Let's pull this out and have a look at it. I can tell you right now, I don't have it installed properly on the boot. Now you might be able to see it if I turn it at an angle. You can see the filter oils on the screen. So we are going to clean that first. So that being said, you can see the filter oils on the MAF sensor. I'm 100% certain this is the issue now. Now, I know this takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of people sometimes don't have that. When you're trying to identify the problem, you need to fix something, then retest. If you go in and do a whole bunch of things at once that you think are the problem, and then all of a sudden new issues arise, you don't know where you screwed up. So we found a problem. We're going to take care of it now. Then we're going to retest. And if there's no issues, we're going to call it good. If we still have issues, we're going to dig into it deeper. Do you see how this goes? Trial and error. Properly troubleshoot. Don't throw the parts cannon at it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will get that code P0101 and spend like $150 on a MAF sensor and throw it on. And it would probably correct the problem because it's clean and it's new until filter oils get back on it. Let's get started. So identify the problem. Now we're going to clean it. And this is the product that I've had in my garage for a few years. CRC Sensor Clean, Mass Airflow Sensor Cleaner, especially designed for it. There's other brands and stuff. However, that's the kind that was available at the time when I bought it. And that's what we're going to use. So now, so you understand, we sprayed this and clean it. If you look on the back side, the little thing on the bottom right hand corner, that would be your air intake sensor, I believe. Then your MAF sensor there's 3 little resistors. So if you get oils and stuff on there, those are going to slightly change the resistance value that the sensor is going to read, and then that's where your issue is going to arise. So now that we sprayed it, we cleaned it, we're just letting it dry. Then I'm going to reinstall it and retest. I think probably a lot of issues why people use the parts cannon is because they lack the ability to be a critical thinker. They do not critical think for themselves. They've been programmed through the educational system and the media to do as they're told, not to think for themselves. That's what my belief is. That goes for everything in life too. Or maybe perhaps they're just plain stupid. Who knows? I'm going to be pretty excited to see what my short-term fuel trims are going to be. It's one of the first things I noticed after changing oil and that when I had the tablet inside. So my short-term fuel trims are like 20-some%. That seemed pretty high to me. I do need to head to Princess Auto and pick up something that's on sale for less than half price. Gonna do that. It feels kind of nice to get out in the garage. It's my first day off. The problem with working nights is working 12-hour night shifts. I get home early morning while everybody else is heading out to work, and I try to sleep for like 5 hours, so I'm not wasting my first day off sleeping, but sometimes the struggle is real. Working nights sucks, but being a union job, you gotta start somewhere, and it's the only place I've ever worked that has company paid benefits and company paid pension, which is a huge bonus. I'm putting money into the stock options plan that they match, and it's also the highest paid job I've ever had. But that being said, it doesn't mean it's a good job. There's a lot of bullshit there, but I guess that's why they pay you to put up with the bullshit. Who knows? Just go run, do some errands now, and we'll keep an eye on our readings. So that's what I picked up last night for a future project. 660-pound electric cable hoist. Use a snatch block and doubles the lifting capacity. I picked up another snatch block, but looking inside, it does actually come with one. I just took it out of the box to have a look, make sure it's not damaged or anything, because I got my engine hoist over here behind the ladder, bunch of junk. And what I want to do is get a new piece for the end there and build it with an attachment to put that on. So there's a few times that I've been out lifting that the crane hoist is a little awkward. So if I build an attachment to put the cable hoist on it, then I could have the boom up and then just use the cable hoist to lower it and raise stuff. Snatch blocks, it's like 1,300 pounds. It's more than enough to lift an engine or anything if I have to. We'll see how that works. So in case you guys haven't noticed, I am a big fan of looking for deals, buying things even though I don't need them, but sometime in the future I may need them or I may sell them to make a profit. And today was no exception. I went out and got a deal of a lifetime. Not as in a big purchase, but something that when the time comes, it is definitely a way cheaper option. So what I got right here is I picked this up off Facebook Marketplace. It's a rear drive shaft of a 2012 Jeep Wrangler 4-door. And I got the coupler, $50. $50 for this drive shaft. Even came with the bolts. It's practically a brand new takeoff. Even though I don't need a drive shaft for my JK, this definitely will come in handy in the future. I could rebuild the joints. Actually, these joints are still pretty good, but I could rebuild them, have the drive shaft ready to go to swap out in a moment's notice. So I got one quick project, actually welding project to do on the TJ, and it's with this tire carrier. I need to brace it up behind there because we got some issues. If you ever want to know why people don't carry big tires on the tire carrier, because kind of a pain to get on and off. They are pretty heavy. These are 35s. Now if you got bead locks, they're gonna be way heavier, but they definitely are heavy, especially if you need to take them off in the bush. I see some issues. So this is where I'm at. I did put a bubblegum weld in there, and the weld cracked from the weight of the tire kind of shifting. And the only thing that's keeping it from spinning out is this top piece that's all kind of bent up. So I got a piece of angle iron here that I cut down, and I'm gonna brace that underneath as such. Going to weld onto the back of this plating into there for extra support. And I think that should work out all right. I just got to clean all that up. I want to TIG weld it this time around. Need some ear protection. Remember, anytime you're doing any welding and you want to clean it, non-chlorinated brake cleaner is what you want to use. Let's help. I'll see if I could use Bessie clamp here just to kind of hold it in place so I could tack it. So I got everything set up. I got the Bessie clamp on there, ready to weld. I could just MIG weld it, but I am going to use the S-Welder TIG welder because, like I said before, going forward, I would like to start TIG welding everything. So now that I got that set up, I have to mash the pedal to activate it. And once that red light, gonna hear it buzz. Hold it down. You're gonna see that red light. There we go. Pedal's activated. Made that mistake before. Before I do any type of welding, I just need to disconnect the battery. Negative post. Now we're good to weld. What I want to do is tack it in place. Try to get my filler rod in there. Tack it in place and then remove it. So I got it tigged up. I just got a gap right in there. I'm going to use the MIG welder to fill in. But so far, I've been pretty impressed with my Yes welder. This is a TIG 250P. It's an AC/DC welder, and I've been pretty impressed with it so far. I haven't had any kind of issues, but if something does happen, you guys are going to be the first to know about it. Everything's bolted back on, and it is solid. Now that the garage is empty, I got to finish these projects off. The electric start came in for the Murray, and I'm also going to see if I can hook up a light. It does not come equipped with a light, but it does have a wire that is got a stator behind the flywheel. So I'm going to extend the wire. I'm going to put a multimeter on it, see what kind of power we're doing, and if so, I'm going to put a LED light on there. I could use the new hardware, but I'm just going to go ahead, use the old ones. One project done. Electric start put in the Murray. I ran the wire for an external light. Now I'm going to work on this. And I don't know why I didn't think of this last time. Instead of like using a kneeling pad working on the ground. When I got that motorcycle jack I've had, well, since I had motorcycles well over a decade ago. I might as well use it for this. I think it'll sit like that. That's what I'm talking about. Now I could use my little stool there, be all comfortable, except I can't get the jack up to the highest setting. Pretty sure it is low on oil. Something I'm gonna have to look at down the road. Get some jack oil to put in there. But now I can take that cover off, get that fuel leak fixed. And there's one other issue I realized afterwards why I had hard starting, and it has to do with the governor and all the linkages, and I'll show you that once we get the cover off. So this is my first mistake, is that, try to get in there, that's supposed to be pointing straight up and down, not in the position it's in. Got the cover off. Yeah, look at that fuel line. That's why we're not running too well there. Shut her down, she said. Shut her down. I think the mistake is that the fuel line should have ran behind. Flywheel off. Yeah, I got it. So this is where the fun begins. Fuel line's out, flywheel's off. Fuel line I found is too big because it has to fit behind there to be protected. However, come over to my hoard of mess. Automotive stores are closed right now because it's in the evening. I do have my midi vac hose. And I have this flex hose right here that I think is going to work just perfect. Fuel line is ran. I open up the valve. It's looking good. It's tucked behind. I shouldn't have any issues. So now that I got the linkage installed properly with it pointing up, now that this is off, you can see that it touches the ground wires, which would kill the motor. And then full throttle, you can see it opens it up. We're in a good spot now. Well, that wasn't too painful. Get it off the stand, fire it up, see if it'll idle without the choke being on. That being said, can't run it too long. It's getting kind of late. I don't want to piss off the neighbor. I don't have any neighbors on the other side of me yet. They're going to be moving in next week, so I've had a month without neighbors, but I still have a neighbor on the opposite side. But I'd be inside my garage, so it shouldn't be too loud, I hope. Well, let's plug it in, see what happens. There's always satisfaction when you get something to work that wasn't working before. Need to adjust a little bit of carburetor yet, but I think she's running good. Who knows when the oil in this thing was last changed. Looks like that drain cap is on. Pretty tight too. There we go. Doing the old tilt. 1 quart, 1 liter, almost exact. I was just cleaning up a little bit, didn't realize I better put some oil in this, otherwise I'll forget, and then tomorrow I'll go start without any oil. Then I'll be back to square one, but worse. AMSOIL 530 small engine oil for the winter time. So this is what I did. It turned out not too bad, not too horrible. So the old bulb burnt out. So I got these set of ox beam cubes off Amazon for like 40 bucks. And I just removed the old light, mounted that one inside. You can see the bolt. I'm just gonna solder the wires because it has like a Deutsch style connector. And I think I'll be good. It lights up, it doesn't flicker, doesn't pulsate. Must be good. So I'm gonna take the light, put the light through. We got a special washer, and then got my ground wire. Now if everything's hooked up right, that should start. I'll full start this. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going as of right now. The TJ is about 90% finished. There's still a few small projects that need to be taken care of. I need to somewhat organize my garage because it is a friggin' mess right now with everything. Because every time I get involved in a project, shit just piles up and I keep buying more stuff, and as you can tell, it's a disaster. So I need to clean that up. I'm thirsty. I'm gonna crush a beer. I'm gonna grab Red Truck. Red Truck it is. Oh, looks like I grabbed an amber ale. All right, you guys know what time it is. It's motherfucking beer time. Cheers, everybody. No more issues with the MAF sensor in the Jeep. I drove it to work today. I had some robot training on the new equipment that just got installed. Everything's going to be robotic. So I went in for some training for that. And for me to go to work and back is about 75 kilometers. And I drove it yesterday. So no check engine light. The issue with the MAF sensor is figured out. It's just the problem is the oil passes through the filter, gets on the sensor there, and screws up the readings. Even my short-term field trims are a lot less. Clean up the garage and bring the JK in. I got a huge pile of work to do in the JK. I got suspension on the rear, suspension on the front, new anti-rock to put in, aluminum oil filter housing. I got two-way radio to install. I ordered new Falcon shocks. I got tons of stuff. I got tons of stuff that is coming in and tons of work that needs to be done. I'm thinking about doing the digital dash in the JK as well. Get that all finished up and both projects are done, and then I'm either going to build myself an overland trailer or buy someone's project that I mentioned before. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next one. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.